What do you really need to know when you begin to homeschool? I want to share three simple but huge points for you as a new homeschooler. Okay, well, I have a few more things in there to share with you, but I'm going to keep it to three so I don't overwhelm you. I don't want to do that. That wouldn't help you at all as you begin your journey. First, let me explain who I am. My name is Tina Robertson. I've homeschooled well over 20 years. My website is Tina's Dynamic Homeschool Plus. My Facebook page is How to Homeschool Easy. My group is Homeschool Dynamics by Tina Robertson. In addition, I've helped hundreds and hundreds of new homeschoolers get on the road and stay on the road to homeschooling. What I did about 10 years ago was I wrote a curriculum for new homeschool moms. And I used it for 10 years and tested it. And I met with them once a month, every year for 10 years. Then I took that course and I have it online now, the self-paced online new homeschoolers bootcamp. Also, I'm the creator of the 7-step do-it-yourself homeschool planner, unit study, lap books. That's enough about me. You can read more about me on my site because I always want these videos about you and how can I help you. I just want you to know, though, that not only do you get my experience, my many years, but my many years helping new homeschoolers. I know exactly what they need. And sometimes they're not even sure the questions that they have right now. They're not even sure what they're supposed to know. So I want you to know I'm here for you. So let me share three things that are very important because I know what you probably want to talk about is curriculum. But I want you to make a better choice than the looks good or smells good curriculum standard. I want you to be in the know. I want you to make the right decision, one that will help you to stay on the road to homeschooling. So the very first thing you need to know when you begin homeschooling is know your homeschool state laws or the country of where you're at. Now, I'm going to go beyond that because here's the key point. It's what a lot of people say, know your homeschool laws. Well, not really. It's not just know your homeschool laws, it's know how they work. What are the nuts and bolts? How do I actually make that work? Reading the law versus interpreting the law are two different things. Here comes my law background out right now. But anyway, that's another thread. What I want you to know is that after helping so many new homeschoolers, that I am familiar with a lot of state laws. Oh no, I don't keep them all in my head. I have things to do. But I do know a lot of the homeschool state laws. But the very first thing is to know what is your state law. Now, why? Why do you need to know that? Because here's the thing. When I question new homeschoolers, it's not even half that know it. It's less than half. They didn't take the time to find out. They jumped to curriculum. I understand you want curriculum. And I'm going to talk about that because I want you to have it too. But a curriculum does not a new homeschooler make. It just does not. A successful new homeschooler is one that knows the details, one that knows where to get what she needs for her family instead of just following the masses. For example, when you know the homeschool law of where you live and actually how it works, the nuts and bolts, it affects the curriculum that you choose, or it should. Why? Because some state laws are more stricter than others. And you have to record keep hours. And sometimes as a new homeschooler, when you're trying to learn all the ropes, it's better to make a choice about curriculum that is laid out for you. Just the first year, just the first year. And it doesn't even mean you have to use it the whole year, but you need some help in the beginning with all the overwhelm. So if you live in a strict state with strict homeschool laws, finding a curriculum that has laid out lesson plans where you don't have to lesson plan and be sure you're covering all the subjects sometimes is of comfort to new homeschoolers. Now, I know what seasoned veterans say, oh no, never use one of those all-in-one or laid out. But here's the thing. It's easier to say that 10 or 20 years down the road because we know that homemade tastes better. It does. Homemade anything tastes better than a box, for sure. But, like anything else that is new, sometimes we need a pattern to follow or a recipe, if you will. I always love examples of cooking. I think about my first cake. Did I have all organic, original ingredients? No. I used a box cake mix. It was a little lopsided. I had a few ingredients, learned about the safety of the oven, and wow, I thought it was just the best cake ever. That's kind of how homeschooling is. I want you to stick with it. Is your ultimate goal to just have something in a box? Probably not. And sometimes that even depends. You know, sometimes we have a lot of working homeschool moms. They need something in a box. It's okay to use what we need for our family. But the point is, I want you to know what's out there. You can't make that choice on curriculum if you don't know your homeschool state law. How much leeway do you have to make the choices? What are the core subjects? Now, see, core subjects, what I call the core subjects is not what all states call the core subjects. They kind of use those terms and they've kind of gotten confusing through the years. Sometimes they use the core subjects as math and history and science and language arts. So that would be their core subjects. To me, the core subjects are the foundational subjects, reading, writing, and arithmetic. So you see, we have to find out first, what does the state law say that you have to meet? All right, if you say we don't have to do anything, I have full choice, all right. The second step then to do is to know the homeschool approaches. Did you know there's 5 major homeschool approaches? Really, there's more. That's really what I want you to know. There are more than 5, but I only talk about the 5 in the one post I have below because it's the 5 major homeschool approaches, the more popular ones, if you will. Why? Why do you need to know homeschool approach? Because all curriculum falls into those categories. That's how you conquer the overwhelm. You don't just choose something in public school that wasn't working for your child in public school. No, you don't want to do that. And whether you're working for your money or your spouse is working for the hard-earned money, you want those hard-earned dollars to be used right. And I want to save you thousands of dollars. Because believe me, a lot of us have spent thousands of dollars on useless curriculum because we just jumped to get it because we thought now we're homeschooling, our child's going to be behind, and they're not. They're not. You have time to research the homeschool approaches. I devote an entire workshop, a very deep module in my online boot camp about the approaches and checklists, if you will. It doesn't take long to learn them. But once you learn them, you can match curriculum with that and you conquer the overwhelm because then you can say, well, I'm interested in just these 2 approaches. I really don't need to look at curriculum from these 3. So then you zero in on these 2 approaches and the curriculum. That's how you conquer it because otherwise, where do you start? Where do you start? Okay. Let me give this other tip to you because I know you're chomping at the bit saying, well, what should I do now? You know, what do we use? This is what I suggest to new homeschoolers in my boot camp. I suggest use an inexpensive curriculum for now, if you can, and your library card. This is why. There's several reasons to do this. One, I want to save you some money. Two, if you've never taught your kids, you have an idea of what they struggle in, but until you tutor them one-on-one, there will be some other things that will come up that you'll say, I thought they knew this. Or you'll learn, what are we covering this for? They have it. They need to go on in a grade level. Then you've wasted your hard-earned dollars on something that's not going to work. So I suggest use an inexpensive to free curriculum. Now, what I suggest, those big, thick, level workbooks, colorful workbooks you can get at Costco or Sam's or Walmart, and they have one grade level, a bunch of different subjects in one of those thick workbooks. They're fantastic. Normally we use them for summertime to keep the kids busy. They're fantastic, though, for you to start your homeschool. And what it does is it gives your kids a little bit about a lot of things. And I suggest, this is a lot cheaper doing this, get a workbook below and even a workbook above. You're not going to waste them if you have other kids. You can use those workbooks when you're finished, toss them back and keep them for summer. And plus, they're not that expensive. They're very cost effective and a lot better than spending thousands of dollars. Plus, there's online curriculum right now, all in one. Easy peasy is online free curriculum. You may end up taking that course and using that curriculum all through. I prefer to pick and choose curriculum for each of my children's needs. But the point I'm making is a good library card, a little book like that, you can keep your kids busy while you de-school. That's the next point I'm going to make about deschooling. What is deschooling? Do I really have to deschool if my children have never been to school? Yes, and let me tell you why. Deschooling is a process. It doesn't mean you don't do anything. It doesn't mean you don't have any schedule. It could mean that. Every family circumstance is different. For example, if you have older kids, maybe middle school and high school, they've been beat down by the school, they're exhausted, they've been bullied, horrible things. It's just been a nightmare, and you're coming to homeschool and you're exhausted. De-school, that means get off the public school treadmill, get off the thinking that we have to do this way. Redefine education, find out what your children are good at and not good at. What do they want to learn? Sometimes you ask them and kids are like, I don't know. It's because they've never been given the opportunity to find out what they want to know. I have a video too about deschooling that you get a handout when you comment on that video that I have ideas about how to deschool. But let me also explain this. If your children have never been to public school, you're like, well, why do I need to deschool? Here's why. It may not take as long, but the reason you need to deschool is you need to think, okay, am I going to follow, if I went to public school and I'm a product of public school, am I going to follow that scope and sequence? Or what do I need to know now about the learning process? What skills are taught at what age or what grade? See, so you want to be sure that when you start your school, you're deschooling, you're stepping back, and you're taking time to define your mission, your objectives, your educational goals for your family. So young moms still need to do it. Now, does a child need to? Probably not, no, because they've never been to school. But deschooling is both for the parent and the child. Will it take them as long? Probably not, because they may have decided they're going to homeschool from the time the child is born, and maybe they're 3 and 4 and they're ready to school. So they don't need as much time to deschool. They've been deschooling, they're ready to get started. But the point about deschooling is that you're not doing anything, but that's the time that you're researching these approaches, you're researching curriculum, you're asking questions on my group or on my Facebook page, or asking me. I'm here for you. Would you learn a lot through my boot camp? Absolutely. Hands down, it is the best course out there. I can say that because it's a twofer. There's not one like it, because it's not just my experience, but like I said, it's based on my 10 years of helping just new homeschoolers. But the point is, I'd be tickled if you bought it. But I'd be more tickled just to answer your question and be here for you and help you. I want you to stay the course. So during deschooling, you're using those inexpensive resources. You're finding out what they want to learn. If you need to sleep late, sleep late. If your kids need a schedule, put them in a schedule. If your husband or spouse is saying they need to be doing some school, do some school. But the point is, you're not fully up and running yet. You're recuperating, rejuvenating, detoxing from the way public schools said to do things, and you're forming your own educational values, and you're choosing an approach that will work for your family. You already are starting off way ahead of other new homeschoolers who jump and get curriculum, and then 3 months, when the honeymoon's over, it's about 3 months, I don't like this. Well, where was the time taken to find out about the homeschool approach? If public school's not working, why do you want to repeat that same model at home? All you've done is change the geography, like I've mentioned in numerous other videos. You're not really changing the approach. Homeschool is a very different approach. It is one-to-one tutoring. You need time to find out where each of your children are ahead or behind for your standards. You need time to get to know them. You need time to put on that teacher hat and say, okay, I'm a teacher now. How am I going to find out what they know or don't know? And those workbooks, that's why I even said a lower grade or a higher grade. Give them one for a higher grade. Give them one from a lower grade. And they say, Mom, what are we doing? And you just tell them, I'm a new homeschool teacher. I'm trying to gauge our progress. You can find out where they're at, along with another good tip is along with taking these free online placement tests from homeschool providers. Don't just do one or two, do several of them. Put them together. Get a good picture of each of your children's learning pattern. Where do they need help at? Where do they soar at that you can go on ahead? And then lastly, the third point, because I could talk all day about this, the third point I want you to take away today is to think of a routine or a schedule that will work for your family. And I'm going to talk real straight here, real straight, because I've seen many schedules, many routines. I tend to roll very organized. I'm a very detailed person. You think that would work great, and sometimes it does, but sometimes that perfectionist streak can be a handicap for me. So I have to learn how to be balanced. I have to learn that I can't be so regimented, I can't enjoy the moment. At the same time, I have seen many who say, we don't have a schedule. And then I see them struggle, and I'm like, well, how's that working out for you? You have to have some way to gauge progress. I'm not saying be so regimented that you don't have time to enjoy the moments of homeschooling, but you can't stuff homeschooling into an already busy life. Homeschooling is one-to-one tutoring. It comes with a cost. Many people don't think about that. I tend to be realistic, but I want you to succeed. I'd rather talk about this side of it. You see, they try to do everything they're doing right now, and we're just going to sandwich homeschool in there. And unless your kid is going to be doing public school online and you're never going to have any interaction with them, that's not going to work. So yes, there have been many things I've given up through the years, but I felt like I've gained so much. And I've had to change the way I've done things because like I explained, I'm very detailed. I have a schedule for meals. I plan 30 days ahead of time. I've never given that up. Laundry, cleaning, I roll that way. I can't step over clutter and start my day and be okay. I know that about myself. If you know that about yourself, then address it. You're the teacher. You set the tone for the day because let's just face it, our kids every day are not going to be in exactly positive, upbeat mood. And sometimes it's up to us to put them that way into a good mood. So we can't just push down how we are as a teacher. If we tend to be more unorganized in the beginning, can you have a few subjects that are laid out and then use the rest of your gift where you can shoot from the hip and you're creative, then use those for other subjects? Can you have some balance there? You see, that's how we at this time, when we think about schedule, we have to think about what are our strengths, what are our weaknesses as teachers. And I know that about myself. I know that I tend to be too organized, which is, yeah, that's a bad thing. And so I realized, okay, I need to have the morning time, we're going to do this, and the afternoon, we're going to do this. And it's such a better, I am such a better teacher when I'm relaxed and have these three goals for the morning instead of everything by the hour and the minute. And I realized some things have to be let go. I'm not going to have time to be all the social butterfly for all my friends. I don't get on the phone and answer it right away when it's time to start school. I want my children to see their education is an important time. I'm setting a routine, a piece for the house. And I have to have a place to put these things. And goodness knows, life is busy. Maybe you have extended family members you take care of. I do. And children and a husband with health problems and just all kinds of various things going on in the household. We have to put those in a place. But we have to know where they're going to be at. Our children need to know what type of routine are we going to have. Does your husband go to work from 8 to 5 or your spouse go 8 to 5 and that's a predictable schedule? Does he work shift work? My husband's worked all kinds of schedules through the years. I've done all kinds of things from homeschooling in the evening to the weekend. Even if it wasn't my preferable time, it's not my family's preferable time. We tend to roll better early in the morning. 5 o'clock in the morning, we can roll. I know that's not the norm with a lot of people. But I can also roll on the weekend. But it's our family's rhythm. It's our family's routine. Find your family's routine and say, okay, we're going to school the afternoon this day or the morning this time or the evening this time. But the thing is, if it's predictable, it's so much more easier to communicate that to your children and get on the same page of homeschooling. I can even help you with that, with schedules and routines. I've done a lot of them. I've helped people with a lot of different ways. Shift workers, special needs kids. There's all kinds of fixes because homeschooling is extremely flexible. Okay, let me recap this so I don't go on and talk all day long. The 3 points I want you to learn from this is first, not just know your state law. Sure, you can state it to me, but how are you going to make it work? How does it work? What are the nuts and bolts? What curriculum do you need? Do you have to set hours? Do you have the right to choose the courses for high school? And if you don't, okay, then say I have a lot of flexibility. Then move on to choosing the homeschool approach. I'll put the link down there. Find one or two. Let me know if this one sounds better or this one doesn't. And then lastly, think about a system for your family. Do not forget to deschool. Look into deschooling. Deschooling also, by the way, I forgot to mention, is a great tool for burnout because it's not if it happens, it's when. It's part of our lifestyle. We all get burned out because we're working hard. Homeschooling is hard. It's a product of the heart. It's one-to-one tutoring. It happens to the best of us. Yes, we know. I know when I see it coming now. Of course, I've been homeschooling many years and I know how to rein myself in. But deschooling is a great way to keep in mind that, you know what, I need to step back a little bit. I need to catch my breath. Things aren't going right. So we need to know how to do that. It's a great way also to start off your homeschool journey. And then, like I said, also find a system for your family. I enjoy talking to you. If you have any questions, post them. And thank you and have a super day.